Let's draw a Mercedes. I firstly need a sketch, which I do using grids. Onto this, I start using my black alcohol marker, jotting in the darkest sections. And I use a variety of greys to block in all the shadows. And this doesn't actually need to be too neat, because you can always fix it up using pencils a bit later. However, don't go too nuts. Still stay in the lines. As well as markers, I also use fine liners, which do have to be neat. These give crisp edges to fine details, like the logo and the grille. When moving on to colouring pencils, I start with a black or very dark colour, just to clean up the sketch and the marker work. This way, I know exactly where everything needs to go and don't end up drawing myself into an absolute mess. I'm then able to focus more on the smaller details, knowing that the general form is all in the right place. Now, the small details are what too many people overlook. They focus way too much on the bigger picture and forget the smaller bits that make it up. But if you absolutely nail these seemingly irrelevant little things, then that bigger picture will look after itself. However, this can lead to problems. Focusing on small details takes a lot of time, and it is quite easy to get bored, rush through it, and even give up. So I'd recommend taking breaks every 30 to 45 minutes, just go and do something else, and then come back to it with fresh eyes. Now obviously this car is silver, so the temptation is to just go and use greys. However, this will lead to a drawing that looks flat and quite washed out. I would really highly recommend putting some blues in your shadows, and I promise that this will make your drawings pop. On the topic of shadows, let's talk contrast. For those that don't know, contrast is the tonal difference between the lightest and darkest area. And I would highly recommend you have buckets of it. As you can see here, the black pencil on the black marker is extremely dark, so sits quite far back in the page. This then puts the lighter areas forwards, giving the illusion of 3D. A tip to boost contrast is to press quite firmly with your pencils in the darker sections to ensure that they are extra dark. Another contributor to 3D is making the things further away from you less detailed than those that are closer to you. You can see this here in the relative detail between the headlights and the roll cage through the windshield at the back of the car. Once I've finished with my pencil work, I can go in with a colourless blender and smooth out all the graininess and make it look as metallic as possible. And to the final stage of the drawing, which is also my favourite part, is adding the highlights with a white paint pen. Now I think this looks epic, and if you think so too, I have prints available down in the description. And if you want to see more videos just like this, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time with more creative content.